world tells you that kindness is safety, that if you give enough, care enough, forgive enough. But that's the first lie you're taught. Society praises kindness publicly, yet it rewards strength in silence. The same people who call empathy a virtue will choose dominance when survival is on the line. History doesn't remember the kind, it remembers the powerful who decided when kindness was allowed. Most people confuse goodness with protection, thinking morality grants immunity from betrayal. But kindness without power is an open invitation to be drained by those who understand leverage. The naive offer loyalty as currency, unaware they are financing their own manipulation. They give information, time, emotion, believing reciprocity is guaranteed. It never is. Machiavelli warned, men forget kindness faster than fear, and that truth hasn't aged a day. When kindness is absolute, it turns corrosive. It makes people predictable, easy to read, easy to use. You show too much mercy, and you train others to expect it. You reveal too much emotion, and you give others the exact map they'll later use to wound you. The world doesn't punish virtue, it punishes visibility. There's nothing wrong with kindness, but it must have teeth behind it, consequence behind it, and boundaries guarding it. Kindness without power isn't noble. It's leverage gifted to your opponent. The harsh truth is that fairness is not self-enforcing. Good intentions have no defense without authority. You can't negotiate respect from weakness. Those who think morality alone protects them will always become sustenance for those who see through illusion. There comes a moment when you realize morality and strategy must coexist, or one will destroy the other. So let the illusion break now. Kindness may be light, but without the armor of power, even light gets swallowed by the dark. Now that illusion is gone, it's time to see why power is not evil. It's essential for preserving everything still good within you. People fear power because they've only seen it abused. They associate control with cruelty, dominance with corruption. But that's a distortion created by those who either misused it or never possessed it. The truth is far cleaner. Weakness destroys far more than power ever has. When you have no authority over your own boundaries, over your own reactions, over what enters your emotional space, you become an accomplice to your own suffering. The tyrant and the guardian share the same tool power, but not the same intent. One uses it for domination, the other uses it for defense. Power, when anchored in conscience, is protection, not oppression. Imagine your mind and heart as a walled garden. Inside, it grows empathy, kindness, loyalty, trust, all fragile and worthy things. Without walls, anyone can trample through it, rearrange it, take what they please, and call it love. Power builds those walls, not to isolate you, but to define who earns entry. That is not arrogance, it's stewardship. Machiavelli wrote that even mercy must serve order. Power is not the enemy of virtue, it is the guardian of it. A person who can't enforce their principles doesn't have virtues, they have hopes. Without power, your virtues serve everyone but you, feeding others while you starve. Being powerless isn't moral, it's irresponsible. You owe it to your best qualities to build the strength that keeps them safe. True power doesn't roar, it maintains calm when chaos expects collapse. It's the quiet decision to stay measured, to protect peace, and to act with intent, not impulse. Power in the hands of the conscious is the foundation of peace. It ensures that kindness remains choice, not obligation, and that compassion doesn't become a prison. That is your transition from fear of power to understanding it as the structure that makes goodness sustainable. Now let's define the forms of power that transform kindness from vulnerability into influence. Power, in its true form, isn't about aggression or domination. It's precision, and precision comes from structure. The first pillar is control. Master your emotions, or someone else will weaponize them. Every reaction reveals a pattern. Every outburst becomes data for someone sharper than you. In a heated argument, the one who stays calm becomes the one who dictates reality. Emotional control isn't repression, it's strategy. By pulling back from impulse, you force others to reveal theirs. People trust what feels composed, and they resent what feels unstable. When you master control, you become gravity. Everything steady bends around you. The second pillar is perception. It doesn't matter how valuable you truly are if the world doesn't perceive it. Respect is born in how you are seen, not just who you are. Machiavelli understood this profoundly. It's better to appear merciful and strong than to merely be either in secret. Perception is your social armor. The calm tone in a room of panic, the calculated silence during conflict, the controlled posture that says, "I am unshaken." These visuals communicate dominance without declaration. In work, relationships, or leadership, people want to believe in stability. If they sense need or insecurity in you, they instinctively place themselves above you. The strategy is subtle. Project strength without arrogance, confidence without desperation. When perception is shaped intentionally, reputation does the work before you ever have to. The third pillar is timing. Strategy dies in haste. Acting early feels courageous but often exposes unread ground. Patience isn't passivity, it's preparation. Great tacticians wait for alignment, the right setting, the right moment, the right emotional temperature. In conversation, the one who lets silence linger gains control. In negotiation, the one who speaks last wins clarity. Timing refines power into art because it merges awareness with restraint. Moving too soon reveals need. Moving too late reveals weakness. Patience gives your actions weight. They feel inevitable, not impulsive. Machiavelli advised that it's better to act decisively than kindly when survival depends on it. But decisive does not mean immediate. Swift without thought is chaos. Deliberate with purpose is command. These three control, perception, timing form the foundation of strategic dominance. They keep your kindness weapon-proof and your image untouchable. Most people confuse kindness for competence and get sidelined for it. They believe sincerity alone earns influence, but in truth, power belongs to the one who chooses when, how, and what to reveal. Miss these pillars, and you live in other people's control loops. Build them, and even silence becomes your ally. Empathy, your intelligence. Patience, your throne. Now that the framework is set, we turn inward to the discipline that sustains it: emotional detachment. Detachment is not coldness, it's composure. It's the ability to feel deeply while refusing to drown. Most people mistake detachment for apathy, but true detachment is the strongest form of awareness, seeing everything clearly without letting it consume you. It's what allows a calm negotiator to sit in a storm of emotion and still speak with precision, or a composed lover to face betrayal without collapsing into despair. Detachment is not the absence of feeling. It's mastery over what feeling turns into. The reactive empath feels and reacts. The strategic empath feels and chooses. The difference is survival. When chaos strikes, most people panic and feed the fire that burns them. The detached observer stands still, collects data. Be the still center in a spinning world. If they can trigger you, they can steer you. Emotional predictability is a leash that anyone willing to pull can control. Detachment cuts that rope. It pauses the impulse, creating the space between emotion and action, the gap where power lives. Every reaction costs energy, every pause regains it. You do not suppress what you feel, you refine it. You let anger settle into assertiveness, sadness into clarity, desire into strategy. This transformation of emotion into direction is what separates the strategist from the victim. The chaotic fall, the calculating rise. Detachment doesn't make you distant, it makes you precise. It's the invisible armor that keeps your decisions clean while the world tries to dirty them. Machiavelli hinted at this when he wrote that he who controls himself controls outcomes. Detachment doesn't mean you love less or care less. It means your care no longer owns you. You can walk through heartbreak without bitterness, through conflict without rage, through injustice without naive hope. Detachment turns pain into perspective, teaching you to listen calmly to the same chaos that once silenced you. Those who can't detach are controlled by those who can. Emotional freedom is the highest form of power because you carry your peace everywhere the world tries to take it. Having built this inner control, the next stage is external. How to project that balance through controlled warmth that commands respect instead of seeking it. Kindness is power, but only when it's rare and deliberate. Most people hand it out constantly, hoping generosity will buy them love or loyalty. It never does. Indiscriminate niceness breeds dependence, not respect. When everyone receives your warmth, your value fades into background noise. People begin to see your kindness as a given, not a gift. But when you're selective, when your generosity feels earned, warmth transforms into influence. Purposeful kindness creates gravity because it carries meaning. Machiavelli understood this perfectly. Mercy is most effective when it's strategic, not constant. The wise ruler shows compassion only when it strengthens order, not when it weakens authority. The same rule applies to you. Your empathy must serve balance, not impulse. Think of a leader whose praise is rare but sincere. When he finally acknowledges effort, it carries the weight of gold. His silence builds anticipation. His approval feels like sunlight after shadow. People remember it because scarcity creates value even in kindness. You don't need to fake cruelty or distance. You simply need discipline. Offer warmth like currency, backed by integrity, but protected by boundaries. Those who receive it should know it's because they've earned proximity, not because you're afraid to withhold it. This doesn't make you cold, it makes you consistent. Kindness without standards drains you. Selective kindness elevates you. It illustrates control, self-respect, and emotional awareness, the hallmark of maturity. The world has trained you to believe that constant affirmation builds connection, but truthfully, it builds expectation. When warmth becomes predictable, it loses its edge. When it's balanced with restraint, people rise to meet the standard instead of pulling you down to comfort theirs. Calculated warmth transforms how others value your presence because they understand that your empathy is thoughtful, not automatic. It communicates strength disguised as grace. Let your kindness be the signal of your stability, not the symptom of your need to be liked. Those who master this balance inspire loyalty without dependence and command admiration without performance. Now that you've learned how to project controlled warmth, it's time to peel back the curtain to reveal how manipulators exploit graciousness and how you can spot them before they pull you into their game. Manipulation hides behind the mask of emotion. It flatters, pleads, and performs sincerity until you believe resistance would make you cruel. That's its genius. Manipulators don't demand power. They borrow it, quietly, through empathy. They study what makes you respond praise, guilt, pity, and then feed you just enough of it to blur your judgment. Excessive flattery is the first trick. It builds a false mirror where you see yourself the way they want you to: useful, admired, special. But underneath every compliment is a hook, obligation. Then comes false vulnerability. They open up dramatically, not to connect, but to trap. They share rehearsed pain so rapidly that you rush to comfort before asking questions. You mistake intensity for honesty, but honesty never needs urgency. Next is guilt induction, their masterpiece. They twist good character into a weapon. They'll remind you of favors you didn't ask for, of loyalty they projected onto you. After everything I've done for you becomes a silent chain around your decisions. And when all else fails, they create crises. A sudden emotional emergency, a conflict that demands your time, an accusation that forces explanation. Crisis creation works because it keeps you reactive. The more you try to save them, the more control they gain. There's a difference between the empath and the observer. The empath feels for others. The observer sees through others. The unaware empath believes every emotional display is truth. The Machiavellian observer knows emotion is data. It shows motive and strategy more often than sincerity. The goal isn't to become cold, but to stay clear. Recognizing darkness doesn't make you dark. It keeps you safe. You can spot manipulation without mirroring it. Defend your peace without hating the manipulator. Think of the friend who's always in crisis. Their pain always arrives when you've found calm. Their emergencies always require your energy, never their effort. The more you give, the more helpless they become because your guilt maintains their comfort. That's not compassion. It's control dressed as care. Manipulators thrive on emotional blindness, the inability to separate truth from theatrics. What you can't recognize controls you. Emotional literacy restores your leverage because it strips illusion of its power. You begin to see patterns, the rhythm of need, guilt, flattery, and chaos. When you notice the repetition, you disconnect from the performance. You stop offering explanations, stop negotiating empathy. You observe, acknowledge, and step back without guilt. Awareness is withdrawal, and withdrawal is dominance. You can't be used by what you've already decoded. Seeing the mechanism doesn't rob you of compassion. It returns your choice in when to show it. Understanding manipulation isn't about cynicism. It's about sovereignty, power fused with conscience. And that's the state we move toward next. The apex thinker is the final evolution of self-control, the fusion of reason, restraint, and empathy. He feels, but he never fractures. He understands emotion as signal, not command. He has learned that power and kindness are not enemies. They are partners, each keeping the other honest. What separates him from the manipulator is conscience. What separates him from the victim is control. The manipulator uses awareness to dominate. The victim ignores awareness and suffers. The apex thinker uses awareness to understand, to choose, to hold power without poison. He can face betrayal without needing revenge, lead without screaming, care without collapsing. He knows that control does not mean suppression, it means command. His presence carries weight because it comes armored with silence and discipline. He has mastered control of emotion, the art of perception, and the power of timing. His warmth is selective, never wasted, and his calm is constant, never forced. He is respected because he doesn't chase respect, he generates it effortlessly through clarity. Where others see chaos, he sees rhythm. Where others break under emotion, he molds it into precision. Machiavelli would have understood him. Restraint is proof of evolution, not weakness. In a world obsessed with reaction, restraint is rebellion. The apex thinker knows that raw power without conscience eats itself. Influence without empathy destroys stability. Mastery isn't about growing colder, but wiser, sharpening compassion with intelligence, shielding emotion with principle. The world doesn't need colder men, it needs controlled men. Those who can look into manipulation, temptation, or injustice and not succumb to it. The apex thinker does not raise his voice or his hand to prove dominance. His calm disarms what anger cannot. He leads through equilibrium, not ego. True self-rule means aligning intellect and humanity so completely that no desire outweighs discipline. This is power without corruption, virtue without weakness. The line between chaos and command runs through his mind, and he walks it unshaken. With this mastery defined, it's time to turn reflection into reality, to transform awareness into daily presence, steady and sovereign. Power only becomes real when you practice it. Awareness without embodiment changes nothing. For the next 7 days, make control a discipline, not a concept. Each day, focus on one principle and apply it with awareness. On day 1, master control, observe your reactions before they speak for you. On day 2, practice silence, respond less, listen more, and let pauses become your authority. On day 3, detachment, refuse emotional bait, and watch how chaos loses its grip when you don't feed it. On day 4, perception, notice how people move, how tone, timing, and body language reveal what words hide. On day 5, warmth, offer one deliberate act of kindness without the need for recognition. On day 6, timing, delay your decisions until emotion settles and clarity replaces urgency. On day 7, reflection, review what changed when you acted with awareness. Write it down. Patterns lose their control the moment they are seen. Every repetition builds new instinct until power stops being performance and becomes presence. This isn't about dominating others. It's about mastering yourself to preserve peace. We practice control not to suppress life, but to steer it calmly, consciously, without apology. Power unpracticed becomes myth, but power lived becomes balance. After 7 days, you'll realize that the world hasn't grown quieter, you have. And in that stillness lies freedom. Now, carry that mastery forward as we close with one truth. Self-rule is the highest form of power. You started this path as someone who felt everything too hard, too fast. You tried to be good in a world that confused goodness for weakness. Every time you gave without balance, you taught people how to take without guilt. Every time you reacted, you handed over control. But now you stand different. No longer reactive, no longer waiting for validation. You've learned that emotion is a tool, not a tether. You've seen the line that separates the naive from the aware, the victim who pleads for fairness from the sovereign who creates order within. The journey wasn't about erasing emotion. It was about refining it into command. You can still feel deeply, but now you choose when and why. You lead with calm, not compliance. You know that respect is not granted to the loud or the kind, but to the composed. Power didn't corrupt you, it clarified you. And that's the hardest truth of all power. Doesn't change who you are. It reveals what's been waiting under the noise. Some use this knowledge to manipulate. Others use it to build. The difference is restraint. Knowledge without restraint destroys itself, but combined with conscience, it becomes sovereignty. You are now both fire and stillness, compassion with a backbone, empathy armed with discernment. The world will still test you, still pull at your boundaries, still tempt your control. Let it. That's the final test. Because quiet dominance is not about never being moved. It's about never being thrown off center. The unaware fight for approval. The unbreakable guide themselves. Emotional mastery isn't the end of feeling, it's the beginning of freedom. Remember this always. Only those who master emotion own destiny. Everyone else serves the one who does. And today, that master is you. My kindness is guided by strength. Power protects my peace. I see through manipulation. I lead with strategy, not emotion. Calm is my throne. I feel deeply, yet reveal nothing. Comment power protects kindness if this hit you. Which principle will you practice first? Control, perception, or timing? Drop calm is my throne if you're done being emotionally readable.